You're not going to tell me what to do. You can go inside. You're about to be arrested for disturbing the peace.
Supervise you here, tyrant. Let's get him. Look at him. Look at him.
Is there a First Amendment right to call a police officer a tyrant? Yes. Does it matter whether he's actually a tyrant or not? No. Does it matter whether you're a pastor standing out in front of your church or a homeless guy with a cardboard sign? No. But we all know that law enforcement has difficulty with accurately identifying the real reasons that they do things. Welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel, where we break down and analyze these sorts of interactions with the goal of educating both sides. Thankfully, where we have body cam footage, such as here, we get the raw truth. Here, the footage shows a church pastor calling an officer a tyrant, after which the officer chases him into his church, where absolute madness ensues. I really just can't describe it. You'll just have to see it.
Who are you? Who are you? Why don't you go inside? You have nothing involved.
Oh, that's my daughter. So, okay. Yeah, I do have a lot to do with it. Yeah. Okay, so maybe you don't have to.
This has nothing to do with you.
On August 25, 2019, in Worcester, Massachusetts, police officers arrived outside Cornerstone Baptist Church. They were there attempting to retrieve a child after receiving a report of a custody dispute involving the granddaughter, I believe, of the church's pastor, Joseph Rizzuti, Sr., or maybe it was Jr., I don't know. Officers arrived at the church to retrieve the child after the child's father alleged to them that the mother had failed to return the child following a visit. Officers wrote in their report that churchgoers and family members kept interfering, refused orders by police, and resisted arrest. The body cam footage shows what actually happened. The church's pastor, Joseph Rizzuti Sr., stands outside the church telling his daughter to leave. Again, or maybe it was Rizzuti Jr. I'm confused. Worcester Police Sergeant Michael Capabianca Jr., of course, walks over to him.
This has nothing to do with you.
How's that? Tyrant, don't tell me what I do.
You done yelling? You done yelling?
Are you done yelling? Acting like a big shot?
We're all set here. You can go inside.
No, you go on.
Alright, in cases like this, most of the time, the cops are smart enough not to actually write in their police reports, oh yeah, I arrested that guy in response to him engaging in his protected First Amendment activity of calling me a tyrant or saying F the police or whatever it is. They're not going to admit that, but fortunately the body cam shows the raw truth here, and that is that the officer is walking towards his police cruiser, he's about to get in it, and he stops immediately when he hears that word tyrant. And in response to that word, then he turns around and he goes to confront the pastor, and we see what happens.
You done yelling? You done yelling?
Are you done yelling? Acting like a big shot?
We're all set here. You can go inside.
No, you go on.
You're not going to tell me what to do. You can go inside. You're about to be arrested for disturbing the peace.
I want to supervise you here, tyrant. Let's get him. Look at him. Look at this guy. Look at him.
Hey! What are you doing?
Hey! What are you doing? Oh, you're in a trouble!
Okay, so this officer came to a fork in the road. One of those forks was to open the door of his police car and to get in and go wherever he had intended to go. But he chose the other path, which was apparently to chase this church pastor into his church, like chasing him around the pulpit to the point where the guy's tripping on the ground. He's running away for his very life, it appears, and he ends up tasing him, and the guy ends up handcuffed on the ground, and they're not even done. This reminds me of, I think it was a Talking Heads song. Do you ever stop and think to yourself, how did I get here? How did I get in this strange church? Well, I don't know if this officer has any sort of self-reflection like that, but the law does. And the law uses the Graham factors from the U.S. Supreme Court decision in Graham versus Connor to judge whether a police use of force against somebody is reasonable, or if not reasonable, in violation of the Fourth Amendment. Those are really unfavorable towards the police here. The first Graham factor is severity of the crime the alleged suspect is suspected of committing. I'm not sure that there's any crime. Well, I know there's not a crime of calling a police officer a tyrant, whether true or not. The only crime that the officer could even point to would be some sort of obstruction type charge. Very, very small on the list. Secondly, whether or not the suspect was actively resisting or attempting to evade. Well, he was attempting to go inside his church. So let's say we even give that to the police officer. Then we have the third and most important gram factor, whether the suspect poses an immediate safety threat to anybody, especially the police officers. Clearly, this guy, there's no information that he's armed or dangerous or anything like that, much less committed any crime. There's no reason to indicate that he poses a safety threat to any individual. In fact, apparently, he appears to be a pastor standing out in front of his church and going back inside his church, not wanting to physically attack any of the police officers. So the gram factors are absolutely in favor here of this being an excessive use of force. Let's continue.
Oh, you tyrant Nazi! How could you do this so?
What is going on? You hurt him.
He tased me and I got my hat!
Papa!
You guys need to get back up. Get out of that space. Back up.
Like I said,
Roll on your back.
Get out of my stuff! Hey, get out of this stuff!
So here's where the officers double down. Now they take down Joseph Rizzuti Jr., who also may be a pastor. Again, I'm confused about that. And I believe his wife. Take a look at this.
Oh, he just punched the wall! I'm gonna sit.
You know, this may be exactly what the boomers are talking about when they say, back in my day, the cops would give you a hickory shampoo if you did that or you ran your mouth or whatever.
Sit down.
I'm okay. Stop, Papa.
We're in the church assembly.
What's wrong with you people? These guys are tyrants.
Stay on the ground now.
Let go of me. What's wrong with you?
He's a tyrant.
I'm resisting you.
For him, you idiot. You're psycho. Get on the ground.
Get on the ground.
Get on the
You're
ground.
psycho. I need to get off my wrist. What the hell's
He's a
wrong?
tyrant, Joe.
We'll just sue him, that's all.
I don't know what I did to get
You didn't do
tased.
nothing. They stand there punching
Yeah,
me in
he
the face.
came at me because he didn't
This
like
Spanish
it.
cop right here punched me right in the face.
I know that. Don't be punching
Right.
us. What am I arrested for?
Yeah, exactly.
Come on, what did I get arrested for?
Get the supervisor here now.
I can't even believe what these guys just did in this church house.
Yeah.
We need to get him up and then him. Which one do you want to get up first? They can get both. We have enough guys now.
So inside the church, the police officers end up arresting both Rizzuti Jr. and also his wife. And as I understand it, the charges against both of them were subsequently dropped, and Rizzuti Sr. was charged with several violations, and he ended up going to trial on those. More on that in a second.
We've got enough guys now.
Make sure my wife gets checked out because she's pregnant and this cop tackled her.
Which one?
Supervisor.
I want the guy that's right
Yeah.
to me. 55 years old, beaten up by the Worcester police. This guy right
You
here.
have an ID on you?
No, I don't. You got one on you?
What's the ID?
I'm not going to sit on the ground. I'm a grown man. I'm 55 years old. I'm going to stand here. You ain't going to believe what this guy did, not him.
Are you okay?
Yeah, we're good.
This one right here. Him. I want to
I don't know who called in the end.
I'm Joe. My name's Joe. Reverend Joe Rizzuti. I don't consent you to go in my pocket. You don't care what I said.
You're under arrest. We're going to search
You
your
get
no
away
weapons,
from me.
okay?
You get away from me.
No,
This
you're
guy
under
was
arrest.
assaulted.
All right?
I'm your arrest.
Yeah.
Oh, am I? You get away from me. You've already assaulted me. Assaulted me, tased me. Laying in the back of my church, this guy. Imagine that. All because he was asked a simple question. Tased me, you knocked me to the ground, and this guy's pulling my pants down. No
They're
one's
gonna
checked
check
me
him
out.
out. They're waiting for him to calm down. They're waiting for him to calm down.
So here you can see the officer getting out his little notepad, and he's writing down all the different crimes that he wants to charge Mr. Rizzuti Sr. with. So this subsequently goes to trial. The Rizzutis lawyer up. During the bench trial, Rizzuti Sr.'s lawyer, Elliot Weinstein, says that perhaps his client's verbiage was offensive to who it was directed, but it was not unlawful. He turned to go inside. What did Capabianca have to do at that point? Go back, get your car, don't push the button. Don't go after the guy because you don't like being told what to do, and you don't like being called a tyrant. Weinstein said the instigator and aggressor of everything was the police. And the judge apparently agreed with that. He said, I'll certainly accept the characterization of noxiousness on behalf of Rizzuti Sr. on this particular day in question as evidenced by the body cam footage, but that itself is not a crime, as unfortunate as it may be. So he found Mr. Rizzuti Sr. not guilty of all the charges, and that's really the best indication we have that these officers acted with no justification. They had not violated any Massachusetts or local law to get arrested here. They did not have a search warrant or an arrest warrant justifying the entry onto that premises. The only thing they could potentially claim is maybe hot pursuit of a suspect or something like that. But again, if he committed no crime, you can't engage in hot pursuit of somebody who did not commit a crime. Really, all this appears to be is First Amendment retaliation.
I wasn't here that exact second, but a lot more went on after that.
Is any of these guys boyfriends or whatever to
Father, I guess.
did they prevent you from getting the kid?
I wasn't here for, like I said, it was a lot. We were trying to get to there, and he kept interfering, and he wouldn't calm down. He kept causing a scene, and he ran here.
Where did you get, where you got tased?
I have no idea. He got tased right in the middle back here.
Can I just look at it? Is that alright?
Relax, I gotta check you out. Right here. Alright, you're all set to go to the wagon. Let's go. Alright guys, we're good.
Mom,
Thank
they're
you.
gonna tell you you're going to the police station.
So, do you have a First Amendment right to call a police officer a tyrant? Let's just set aside the excessive force stuff here, everything that happened inside the church. Let's say that Officer Capabianca just came up and peacefully arrested the pastor on the public sidewalk in retaliation for him being called a tyrant. And let's say he admitted that was in retaliation, that he actually put in the police report like, yeah, that guy called me a tyrant, so I arrested him, and then I put him in the wagon. So let's say he admits that. That would be, just in black and white, a First Amendment violation, a civil rights violation. That specifically would be First Amendment retaliation because, yes, you do have a First Amendment right to call a police officer a tyrant. Now, generally what officers are going to do is they're going to say, they're not going to admit that. They're going to say that you were interfering with the investigation, something like that, which is, I think, what they tried to do in this case. But you can't get around the body cam footage, and that's why, we all should thank God for body cam footage. So as always, thanks for watching. You can find out more information at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. Please make sure to subscribe if you like this sort of content, which is the best way to learn. You look at specific facts, specific cases, and you try to apply the law to that. Let me know in the comments if you would apply the law differently here, or if you see the facts differently. And for those of you who are police officers, how would you have handled this differently? Would you have just opened the door to your police cruiser and driven off? Or would you have chased the pastor into the church and tased him, and also used force against and arrested his son, and also his daughter-in-law in front of a bunch of kids? I'm just asking. Let me know. It's fine if you would do that. Just please let me know. Freedom is scary. Deal with it. I'll see you next time.